Hi, good afternoon. This is Prakash Thomas again with you. The second episode of Financially Yours. As mentioned, what we do in this series every Wednesday, the plan is to help you plan, get out of debt, and help you hit the first $1 million in net worth. And how do we go about doing that? As you all know, I was a private banker, a wealth manager. So based on my work experience, based on the educational qualifications that I have, and of course, the Word of God, the Bible. So using these resources, we come to you telling you how to plan your finances the God's way. I tell you, it is always a successful way. Many a times we are afraid of the fact that people talking about money. Money is not a bad thing. It's really good. And that's what we are all about. Help you get out of debt. So today, in Financially Yours, what we are going to talk about is what about debts owed? What if I am a debtor? Which in our scenario, most people are. So I'm just going to cover the nitty-gritties of debt and give you some information in this telecast, or in this podcast. To begin with, let me take you to the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 7. And the latter part of that verse says, "The borrower is the slave to the lender." The borrower is the slave to the lender. Think about it, let it sink in. When we think of borrowing money, irrespective of what it is, the borrower is always a slave to the lender. And this is said in the Bible, in Proverbs, written by Solomon, one of the most wisest men according to the Bible. And you too know that. Having a debt, having a loan, whatever form it may be, credit card, student loan, a personal loan, home equity loan, mortgage, car loan, any of those scenarios, a debt is a debt, and you are now subject to being a slave to the lender. Let me give you some statistics. And these statistics I quote to you from CNBC and from bankrate.com. So, according to CNBC, the average American carries a debt of $90,460. Whereas Bankrate is not too far off, and this is as of 2021. The average debt is $92,727. And the total US consumer debt stands at $14.2 trillion. It is the consumer debt stands at $14.2 trillion. Your share could be the average that I spoke about, a 90,000 or a 92,000. In our efforts to keep up with the Jones, we try to get into debt, whether we know it or unknowingly. Sometimes it could be that you had no money with you, nothing stashed up, nothing saved up, and an emergency came in. You either had to fly somewhere, the cost of the airlines, everything came about 5-6 grand, and you took it on your credit card, give an average of 15 to 21%, and you're paying only the minimum balance because you didn't have that $5,000 to pay off immediately, and you're just stuck to the minimum balance, and that loan keeps going and going and growing and growing and growing. And I'll show you how that works and how long certain things can take. Borrowing sometimes becomes our long-term financial plan. That is a wrong notion. The whole aspect of today is about debt and getting out of debt. I'm not going to go into the getting out of debt part, but keeping borrowing as a main conduit or a main avenue to your financial planning, you are going to risk becoming that slave that I mentioned about. The Bible is very clear about that, and so is in the financial world. Let me give you a breakup, okay, what that 90,000 or 92,000 looks like. The Generation Z, which is ages 18 to 23, on an average carries about $9,500 in debt. The Millennials, which is 24 to 39, carry about $78,396. The Generation X, about 40 to 55, carry about 135 to 140,000 in debt. The Baby Boomers, that is from 56 to 74, carry on an average 96 to 97,000 in debt. And the Silent Generation, which is ages 75 and above, have an average of $40,900 in debt. Can you imagine that even after the age of 75, people are still carrying debt? And Generation X, that's the age from 40 to 55, are the main culprits. These are the people who are actually earning or well set into their terms of earning money. And they, on an average, carry credit cards as high as $8,500 to about $10,000 in debt on credit cards. On auto loans, the Generation X also is considered the highest and carries about $21,000 to $22,000 in debt. Generation X comes again for mortgages and carry an average about $230,000 to $240,000 in debt. The Millennials are very close. They carry close to about $224,000 in debt. And student loans, again, we have the Generation X close to about $40,000 to $45,000. The home equity loans or lines of credit, again, the Generation X comes carrying about $49,000 to $55,000. It's only on the personal loans that the Baby Boomers are considered a little higher, and they carry around $20,000 in personal loan debts. You know, it is so sad to know that we as individuals choose to carry this debt. It has not been forced upon us, but we choose to carry this debt because that has become a part of our financial planning. And I want to let you know that the Word of God, the Bible, along with human understanding, tells us that that is wrong. You don't want to be a slave. You don't want to have the rest of your life stuck in payments that you cannot get out of. Let me give you an example. I'll just give you an example. Let me find that. I'll give you an example of how much a debt can actually hit us with. So if you are looking to a credit card loan and you are barely paying the minimum balance on that credit card at an average rate of 15 to 21%, it will take you something like 23 years to get out of that debt. Did you hear me? Minimum payments on credit cards can take you up to 23 years if you're just paying the minimum. So what do? Are you in that place? Do you think that you are carrying that burden of debt upon yourself. Well, it's time to make a change. Through this podcast, I want to show you how it is possible to get out of debt. That will be the first series on how we can go about managing our finances. So next Wednesday, July 7th, we will talk about what should I do if I am in debt today. Today's episode was just to give you an idea of debt, which you already know about. If you are that person or you know of someone who is that person, we will talk about it next Wednesday to see how we can get out of debt. Having said that, if you feel that this video will be beneficial for somebody else, I urge you to please share it. Let them know that there is a way, and that is God's way. Till next time, God bless you.